everybody, AOG Gaming here, back with another video on Marvel Rivals. Today we are talking about the new meta. The new meta that is destroying casuals and making competitive fun again. Uh, no more triple support unless the enemy team isn't good at rushing supports, but at that point they would just go dive characters. Like, counter picking is a thing people do. You just switch a character, and it's not that hard to do. People play multiple characters. Um, but yeah, it's not completely gone, but it's pretty much just you have to have a support that also does other stuff. Like Adam Warlock revives and he does insane damage now. Um, Groot, I guess, can do damage, but also, or sorry, Rocket does the damage, but also he has the ability to give your teammates infinite ammo. Mantis does damage boost as well, and she does a lot of headshot damage if you're able to consistently, you know, aim with her. Um, like you have to have a specific support, and you have to play the support in a more of aggressive style now. Um, but there are a lot of supports, or there's a lot of times where you're playing as a support where it just feels like hell because you have a lot of enemies on you, especially because the dive meta has become a thing. Not just dive meta. So there's two metas right now that are circling around. It's the flyers meta with the buff that they gave Iron Man that he didn't need at all. In fact, now he's an overpowered flyer. Storm that I think they put her in a good place, but they gave her ultimate combo with Johnny Storm, which should have never happened. It just should have never happened. I don't know what the fuck they were thinking was gonna happen when they just slapped her wrists, gave her the smallest nerf on the planet, and then said, "All right, now let's introduce another flyer that is as fast, if not faster, than Storm, and that can do area control and do a lot of damage." So dumb. I don't know what they were thinking. And also his ult is literally just click and place. It is the easiest shit on the planet. They could have at least made it so that he would have had to do like the dive or something. He could have had to aim. So he could have gotten CC'd or something. No, he can just stay up as far in the air as he fucking wants while flying away from people. Click as fast as he can with his right click, put down a tornado, and keep dodging stuff. It is insane. Also, they need to nerf, what's his name? The Human Torch. Wait, where is he on the roster? Am I tripping? Oh, he's right here. This ability needs to be nerfed to the fucking ground. It has no cooldown. You saw that. It came off cooldown in half a second. And it doesn't reset. You can hold it. Which is dumb. Like, so you gave this character a lot of speed, a lot of mobility, a lot of control, and an insane amount of damage. Wow. Talk about just making an overpowered character and checking off every one of the fucking boxes. And I'm mostly mad because they decided to nerf Cloak and Dagger specifically to the fucking ground. Which makes her ults more in line with the other players, but now every support ult feels the same. At least Cloak and Daggers felt good where you could stack damage and healing so that you could have these moments where you are just annihilating teams if they are too close together. Now, it's just like every other fucking support ult where you place it down and you play around it. No difference. You place it down, you play around it. Sometimes, I don't know if the damage still stacks. They definitely said the healing doesn't stack. I haven't played it with her enough because, again, I haven't been having fun with support. It's just been more sweaty than usual, and I know I'm almost to diamond. I'm in platinum 2 right now, right? I dropped down because I was playing with some very bad people. I stopped playing with them though. Um, it's just that they just didn't know how to play the game. I'm sorry. Like they have to play the game a little bit more and understand team play. But yeah, and they were always playing Rocket, and they're not the greatest. That being said, though, I shouldn't be in platinum and feeling like playing a support isn't fun at all. And most of the time it isn't because my DPS or my tanks are non-existent. That just happens. When that happens, it really like tilts you. But you just gotta play the game the way it is. Um, Other than that, like I would say that's pretty much the ultimatum when it comes to the new meta that has been come that has came out. I could talk specifically about each support, and I will, but I just want to make the beginning of the video for whoever just wants to watch the quick bit so they understand like specifically the shortness of what is important, and then after that they can leave the nuances to people who want to know that. But yeah, so triple support meta isn't dead, but it's almost it's like 3 feet in the ground, not 6 feet, 3 feet in the ground. Supports themselves just don't feel as fun, and the thing about support ults, yeah, people were mad or they were annoyed that you could counter DPS ults. That's what you're supposed to fucking do. You have insta-shot ults that can already counter supports. So you're telling me that support ults were balanced, and because people were complaining about that, you decided to nerf them? Well, that's fucking bullshit. Now, I do agree, getting them every 5 seconds is a little fucking ridiculous. I do agree that Cloak and Dagger needed that nerf. I've already said I agreed that this character needed a nerf. But the fact that they did that and also just changed the way the character works fundamentally on their ults is ridiculous. For the other characters, they could have maybe buffed. So here's the thing, right? If they're gonna do this, if they're gonna try and rebalance the game, right? Not so that the triple support thing is a meta, right? I'm okay with double support being the meta, but right now dives are way too strong. You buffed fucking Iron Fist. Um, I'm pretty sure you buffed Spider-Man's thing too. It wasn't that big of a buff though. You buffed a ton of other DPS characters. You buffed some hit scan characters, which again is like, what the fuck? Why? You buffed Hela and Hawkeye and Black Widow. You buffed 3 of the strongest hit scan characters. Well, actually, Black Widow needed the. I think Black Widow needed the buff, but if you're landing like really good shots with Black Widow, you're an impressive player. I'm sorry, but you are insanely oppressive, and it makes the game not fun to play at all. Like there should be no reason that the headshot multiplier is that much. But I mean, it is what it is. They'll eventually realize that the DPS meta is not the way to go. The only thing is that it is a team game, so when it comes to competitive, like really high elo, you're playing with your team a lot more efficiently and a lot better, so you can protect your healers easier. But then again, it also is the caveat of if someone becomes insanely like top 500 with the character, yeah, there's gonna be a very plain meta there, but there should be a meta there. The top 500 should have much more trouble with characters than the rest of the casual player base. You are there for a reason, because you should have that much knowledge on the game. You should be that good at the game. So, yeah, I don't know how they're gonna fix this, but again, I said passives of support characters, so you can like reduce cooldowns on some of their abilities, maybe give them multiple charges, maybe increase the healing that it gives, or maybe give more movement or something. One of my like ideas was to give like a passive healing, but like Invisible Woman, after she does her jump, she starts healing. What's his name? Jeff, when he goes underground, he has his healing thing. Like those little things where you get healed like 10 every second or something. Great. How about we have that so that when you stop taking damage as any support, you start healing 10 a second. Because what this does is it means that you can heal yourself, and you don't have to heal yourself to full if you're able to get out of the enemy's or enemies, I guess, crosshairs basically. So you're not being shot at. Um, because at that point, I think it'd be good, and you can make it like 2 seconds or 3 seconds or something like that. It still has to be balanced. I think 5 seconds is a little too long, because again, you want to be dealing with the burst damage, but you don't want to make it so that it's pretty much useless other than when you're safe. You want to make it so that it's useful when you dip out of battle and then come back in, right? So like 2-3 seconds, I feel like that's fine. It gives you enough time to go behind the shield, get behind some cover, maybe deploy one of your abilities. So like, it's not that hard to balance, but I feel like people are freaking out a lot because they just don't know how to play the game. So honestly, it's a skill issue. I don't want to say that, but it is. Um, because in high elo, I feel like it's completely fine. I'm getting towards, like in some games when I'm playing and it's like we're actually fighting the team, like it's a good struggle. Like there's a good balance in between both teams and how skilled the players are. It's actually fun to play because yeah, sometimes you get dove, but like that's gonna happen. That's how those characters work. You're gonna get dived no matter what as support. But if you're getting dived every fucking 5 seconds, it's a little dumb. So yeah. Um what else? I think that's it, right? The problem was that they nerfed support ults to the ground. Like they're worse than DPS. So and that's also the other thing, right? Some DPSs can gain, they can gain their charges faster than supports. And at that point, it makes it so that support ults are completely defensive. Support ults have become a defensive item that you save until the very last second, whereas DPS and Vanguard ults, they kind of just spam the living shit out of it. So they get all the broken ults, and now support ults are pretty much not fun to play anymore. So this is my message to developers. I still liked the update you all did. I still think this was in the positive direction. Yes, it didn't go all the way where we wanted, but I still think that buffing the DPSs a little bit was great. I think nerfing the supports ult changes how they fundamentally work, and now it's less about surviving until you can spam that ult and more about just saving that ult until you can protect your team against anything. And people are like, oh, well, they heal. That's what a support's supposed to do. Yeah, but also now you can get countered pretty easily. Because there's a meta with Storm and Human Torch. And people can say, oh, well, now they can just ban those characters. Not below Diamond. So, 80% of the player base. What is that? 30 million people? However many people, they said 40 million players have signed up. So whatever 80% of that is. So yeah, go figure. Of course people are not going to be having fun if you're going to make a character so busted that it becomes like basically a no skill game at that point. You're just doing too much damage for the enemy team to handle. The Rock I think is pretty well balanced. Or sorry, the Thing. Sorry, not the Rock. The Thing is pretty well balanced. The only thing I would say, he feels very strong, but I don't want to say he's strong because he has no range whatsoever. His range is pitiful, but he has a decent amount of mobility, so it makes him able to like appear on the battlefield and kind of like ambush actually pretty easily. So I kind of like the way that they've balanced his character. Um, Maybe they have the CC control for less, so you have to work with your team a little bit more, or the CC be not as long, because I feel like it's super long. It is really long, and the thing is, Garut always has to use his support ult with another character. Even Storm's ult, like sometimes it doesn't work, so like you got to use Firestorm again, and that'll burn through like two support ults, which is insane that they should nerf both of those ults. They should just nerf the amount of times they get it, right? Because if they get it often enough, then it becomes more of a like, how can we kill these characters so that they're not able to use their ults, right? And if we're doing that at that point, then it goes to show that the game isn't balanced. Specifically, it's balanced towards the favor of the DPS right now. And here's the thing, right? There is so many more DPSs than there are supports and vanguards. So buffing the DPSs in general, maybe not all of them, it makes it so, and you also nerf some tanks. It makes it so that these classes become harder and less fun to play, and other classes become more fun to play. And the reason it's fun is not specifically because it's easy, but because you have an easier time than other heroes playing the class, right? It feels more rewarding. Whereas when you're playing characters that are a lot harder or they're not as strong, it feels less rewarding and you have to, sweat. And, some people don't like that. I'm okay with that, honestly. I like being competitive in hero shooters, FPS games. That's just how it goes. But it also goes to show that they're walking a fine line, and they went a little too far with the supports. I guess that's the overall message of the video, right? I'm trying to find other things to say, but there's really nothing else. Triple support meta is dead. Dive meta is at the top. Flyers meta is second. And then we have support ults, which are support characters in general, which are not as fun to play. And that's because of their ults being nerfed, which fundamentally changes how those characters play, because now they have even less healing. Think about it. The ults provided so much healing because you could get them if you were able to like burst your heals. So like it rewarded you for saving your or keeping your team alive in moments where they were being ambushed with a lot of damage. But now it doesn't reward you for that, or it doesn't reward you as much. So it feels like you're just there to be like a nuisance to the enemy team, right? It doesn't feel like you're there to affect the battle really. And I think that sucks for lower elos. For higher elos, there's decision makings when you're a healer. Do I hit the enemy? Do I heal my teammates? When do I start burst healing? When do I start using this ability? So with supports, and every character is different. I cannot go into the nuances. Please understand, people. And in this game, every character is different too. So the nuances are so like careful and like very situational that like it depends on, again, it depends on how strong your enemy team is. It depends on whether you're rolling them or you're not rolling them. If you're rolling them, I would rather be doing a lot of burst damage, and then if you see your teammates getting low, then you start healing. But if your guys are getting rolled on or it's really hard to defend, I would rather focus on healing and only use my damage when I need to escape situations. And even then, I wouldn't go for kills. I would try and keep my team alive first. So again, it becomes a different game at higher elo. But when it comes to lower elo, when it's not as rewarding, when it's a lot less fun because you're being attacked all like constantly, it is ridiculous now. You are basically the target if you are playing support in this game. You are the target of the team, and it usually was that way, but it would have changed if one of your teammates was low, because they would have been like, all right, kill this guy, so now that their team is skewed and their healers have to work extra hard, and then we can push their healers and like overwhelm their team. But now it's like, fuck everything else, push their healers, because guess what, every DPS in this fucking game now can kill healers like it's nothing. And now that we have three flyers that are broken, just bring one of those flyers on the team. Heck, bring all three of them and call it a day. So I don't know what their decision making, again, because I was fine with them nerfing the support ults. I was not fine with them buffing a ton of damage dealers, because again, I said you're basically, it's not even a double-edged sword at that point. You're just stabbing the sheep twice. You're freaking cauterizing its neck. You're literally butchering it to death and then stabbing it while it's been dead for a while. Like, come on. You did not have to go that hard. And maybe it was to make those other characters play better, but I feel like they should have done the support ults first, just as a hot patch, and then they should have released patches for the damage dealers once they realize like how the game is affected now, with the supports basically being non-impactful to the game other than defense. The only thing they do now is heal. So the damage part kit of a lot of healers isn't a lot, except there are some exceptions, of course. Again, I said there's nuances, but the damage part of healers is not very effective at low elo, because again, if you're not a team that's like very well experienced and your teammates are just playing all over the place, they're gonna be dying. They're gonna be taking a lot of damage, especially if the enemy team is coordinated, and you're gonna have to be healing them. Otherwise, you're gonna get rolled. It does not matter, because you need your DPSs and tanks to be alive. That is the whole point of support. Keep your teammates alive so that they can keep tanking and dealing damage and killing people. You help them when there's an enemy team, that when they have 5 or less teammates. That's pretty much when you start helping as a support in order to do damage, unless again there's specific supports that do stuff like AoE damage or like pierce damage, like Invisible Woman, so you can like automatically start dealing damage. So again, there are some nuances, and there's Loki. Yeah, it's like, again, nuances, but the damage part of healers has become less fun and less helpful in battle, and it's become more about healing and defending. So like supports just have become less fun. They're not as, and they were already not super fun to play unless you were like decently versed at the character because of the fact that you would just get hounded. And if you didn't understand that playing like backline but not too far from your teammates so that you can use your movement abilities to come to them so they can tank, like you had to understand that pretty early on, and also just make sure that your heals, that you're staying alive and that your heals are getting to your teammates. That is like the most important thing as a healer, and it's become more apparent now where it's become as a necessity rather than like, oh, I'm healing because my teammates are low. No, I'm healing because my teammates need the healing, otherwise they're gonna die the instant they're not being healed. And that's usually what happens. It's not always that case, but it happens, and it makes the game not fun. So yeah, just buff the like normal abilities of supports, because if the ults was super oppressive to the point where it was making like I think the ults are fine right now. I don't think they're that broken, and I think you get them decently enough that they work fine. But you're definitely gonna have to nerf some DPS ults, because ain't no way Storm can get her freaking ult in like 20 seconds. Like, I saw the video where they have the world record. Yeah, that's not gonna happen every time. Even 3 times the amount of that time that he took, what, like a minute and a half, would be fucking insane. Storm should not be getting her ult that often because she can delete supports so fucking fast. And with Human Torch, it is pretty much game over for any support who is not ulting. So yeah, that's just my point on it. Thank you all for watching. I have more videos coming, obviously. I'll try other games as well. Don't worry. I just wanted to talk about this because this has been a big thing. It's a big update, and it has really changed effectively how most people will like this game or like playing this game. They will want to be DPS or Vanguard. Heal is kind of just like, if you didn't play a healer before, playing a healer now is going, or learning how to play a healer now slash support is going to be oppressive. It is going to be oppressive. It is going to be a uphill battle for sure. Um, but if you do learn how to play healer and you play them at high elo, it's going to be great. So I don't think that they should change the healers too much. Maybe give them small buffs to some of their abilities, not their ults. I think their ults are fine where they are. Because if you buff their basic abilities, again, remember, when you buff something on a character or nerf something, it skews other parts of their kit. When you buff the amount of healing that these characters can do just a little bit on their base, it'll increase the amount of healing they do overall, which will in turn make them able to get their ult faster, because your ult is based on what your character's class is. Vanguards, it's blocking damage. DPSs, it's doing damage. Supports, it's healing. That's simple. Thank you all for watching as always, and I'll see everybody in the next video.